we'll have a quick run through of what happened in the last session. So we started off with Thurin having rescued the damsel in distress. The whole award ceremony for the race, Ezreal Rosnar and Renier all gathering around the carriage, which had gone through the window of the shop. We had Tavis on the run from the city guard or the city watch as the bookmaker had realised that he was a bag of gold lighter. We also had we have after that. We also had Isla creating the ward over the shop as protection. We had a brief sort of conversation around what was going to happen next. Ezreal Rosnar was staying in the yawning portal, and Renier went off to take a back. She was a bit shaken after the crash. You guys then ended up heading back to... Oh, before that, sorry. Tavis, having gone through the crowd, met a curious fella by the name of Zardo Zord. He was a captain of what he called the Sea Maidens Fair. He said he was down in the dock ward. He was asking about Tavis's heritage. And he even went to remove Tavis's hood, which, as you guys know, never gets removed. So from there, then you guys all met in Troll Skull, just to have a bit of a debrief, and that's where you started to go through some sort of key elements of things that have happened recently, or talking points that you've got as a party. So the likes of Zara Zord comes up. The fact that you had the encounter with Hairlet Tom, Sildar that's gone off to trail him. You've also had a brief encounter with the Spectre, although he seems to be a little bit more sort of helpful and less agitated by your presence. There was chat about gaining licenses and what the plan was going to be with the tavern, although there was nothing really anything sort of concrete coming from it, other than Isla and Ulfgar having a chat about what it would look like to go and try and speak to the guilds. There was also a chat between Negan and Ulfgar around sharpening some axes and things like that. There was more chat about the Red Viper, what the timescales might be, what the next steps need to be within that. So with that then, Negan was speaking about the Blackwoods, sort of filling in the party and where he'd come from and what that means, that the Blackwood thread means to him. So there's quite a lot of detail towards the back end of the session, including Thurin actually opening up about his name, where his name had come from. At that point, towards the end, Isla wants to sort of do some investigating into Obo's room, and just to try and have a look to see whether his alchemy kit was there, the rest of his kit was there, and to see if Obo himself was there. And when he goes into the room is a bit of a disgrace, with sort of papers everywhere and bits and pieces, bedroll out, really scruffy, and then plastering all over the walls in lots of scrolled handwriting, large letters and small letters, and just literally covering the whole of the wall. It said, "Demon in the deep, the end is coming," and that's where we ended the session. So, has anyone got anything that they want to add to the the recap before we make a start?
Nope.
No. No. Okay.
Good.
So we are currently 10 p.m. at night. Isla, you look around this room. You see, like I said, you see this floor strewn with scraps of paper. There is food in like a wooden bowl, which is half eaten, just left stale. There is, like I said, the bedroll is out. There's a horrible stale smell to the room, and then the room is just plastered in that script.
Okay, so I think we did a perception check last time and didn't roll so great on it, if memory serves me right.
Well, let me know what you're looking for, and then we'll roll a perception on that.
Is the rare by himself?
Currently, yeah.
Have we got any light? Is there a light source in the room?
When I asked you what light you were using, because obviously the troll skull is quite, I think you lit up. Was it your mace that you lit up?
Yeah, I could. And I've got Lightbringer's mace, but I can cast light anyway.
Yeah.
No, so like, I was looking for any. Obviously, he's written Demon in the Deep. I was looking for any patterns in the writing on the wall, to see if we could decipher anything from that. I will also like troll through all the papers and stuff to see if there's anything that links up with what's on the wall. And then yeah, just generally see if I can discern anything from all the writings and scrawlings that he's put there.
Okay. I won't let you roll. You won't have to roll a perception check for that, because you're quite detailed in what you're looking for. But what you're seeing is the same iteration of those words over and over and over again. Some of the words have been, like they've been really made bold. So you can sort of see that they're made up of lots of lines within it. You can see that even the smallest of gaps have had the same words repeated. As you start to turn over the papers, you see that on the papers, you see that it's written in large writing. You see it's small. It's just everywhere. The ravings of a madman are what would come to mind.
Yeah. How far up the tavern am I, or the manor? Am I quite high up? Would anyone be in shouting distance, or would I have to shout very loudly?
I mean, you can make yourself heard. I can't think of where we said. Yeah, so a quick look at the map.
I think either way, I'll cast Armitage on myself, and make my voice 3 times louder, and just say, shout Negan. Negan, can you come up here, please, mate? Elbow's room.
So I make my way up and just hear it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I follow.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a few of you now that are all heading up. Negan, you're taking the lead on that.
The door open or closed when I get to it?
Yeah, I've left the door open. I'm just kind of stood in the middle of the room.
Okay, I just walk straight in and go, where is it?
I said, so I've just popped up to see, what's going on in Obo's room. When was the last time I saw Obo? It was about 2 days ago.
I
2
think.
days?
Yeah, probably like two to 3 days now. The last person to see Obo was Negan.
Alright, so just say to Negan, 'cause he's the one that I'm kind of really talking to. Say, I've not seen Obo in like 2 to 3 days. Like, he was with us, now he's not with us. There's this writing on the wall. Like, does anyone know what's up with him? Like, or where he's gone?
When I spoke to him last, he said he felt like he lost a bit of his cause, and he felt like we were getting pulled in wrong direction to go and clear his head, reassess it. That was the last thing. Right.
You're breaking up a little bit, Jay.
I'll say, I'm saying a loud enough that Thorin can hear as well, if he wants to get involved. So is it worth trying to catch up with him and kind of figure out what's going on? Whether he's with us, not with us, what this round's about, whether he needs any help.
I mean, it'd be good to, but that's if we can find him.
That's true. Maybe he's gone back down to the docks. What was that guy's name that you were hanging around with when you were looking at the ship?
Oh,
That was Bjorn.
Bjorn. Yeah, Bjorn.
Maybe
We haven't seen him for a while.
maybe he's Bjorn. Bjorn could maybe help.
Yeah, could do. Kind of get
I think it's probably worth not to go what's going on. I mean, and to start pointing out like the demon in the deep and stuff like that, and so I'm saying like I'm cool with him going off by himself and trying to find his true cause, but if he's talking about demons and stuff like that and he's bases here, I think it's probably a good idea that we need to have some clue of what he's up to, so that if he needs us, we can back him up, or if anything comes to the to here, we can we can at least expect something. But maybe that's a conversation for tomorrow. Just thought it was one worth having.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we find him. But I say, I kind of get the feeling from Obo that if he goes and he goes, I don't know if we'll be able to track him down.
It looks like he's gone nuts in here.
Is his bag anywhere? Any bags or any of his travelling stuff or?
No, I mean he's made his bag lighter by sort of taking out a lot of the stuff that you would use on the road, but nothing that you would see that would be any real use.
So just so see through was like I'll swing by Rimples tomorrow and see if he's picked up his alchemy set and stuff from there. Might be worth bringing it back. See if he's been there and using it, then I'll leave it. But if it's not being used, we can put it to better use.
Do any of you guys know if that's actually his writing? We've had some weird goings on in this tavern.
Would I know if it's his writing? I think I would.
Make an insight check.
With my left hand. $18?
Yeah, 18. Maybe that like you look at it and think, well, is that Obo's? Like, you know it straight away. Probably not. But over the course of your travels with him, the fact that you were the first one to properly go around the house, opening all the doors and seeing where everything was, that room hadn't been written in. And what you do know is that the writing on the window, that's not the same writing.
So we think he's been back whilst we've been out and stuff. Come back to his room and
Yeah, it looks like there's food on the floor, writing on the wall, papers all over the place.
we could send him a message, right? Ask him to pop by in the morning or save us a search.
Yeah, maybe it's just worth keeping an eye over the next 24 hours, see if he comes back, see if he's been to Rimple, see if Rimple knows anything. Well, I think just maybe worth keeping an eye out, just there, and see if we can locate him. Keep an eye out.
The demon in the deep, what might that even mean? Anybody, does that ring any bells from his past or anything? Or in general for anybody?
Yeah, can I do like a religion check on demons or something?
Not really.
Yeah, you can do a religion check, yeah.
Just like knowing about Ogo in the north and whether there's anything like in his 17.
17. Okay. Right. Whispers. I'm going to pull you into the game room chat.
Do you want to call me on my phone because Matt's here, or
yeah.
or you can just bugger off to the room.
Yeah, right. One sec.
Jay,
Hello?
what's Negan's last name?
Rack.
Rack. I just started a new notepad so I can write down stuff about the characters.
It means revenge in like.
I don't know that.
No, not for the game. That's just where I got the name from.
Alright, okay. How's
Nah.
Rack, how's Rack spelt? As in like shoe rack?
No, as in WRAAK.
Cool. There you go.
Whispers, cool.
We've had an actual insight check and actual whispers. Well, we had a check with.
Whispers check.
I turned to Isla and say, Isla, what was that old woman in the street earlier today? She kind of grabbed you. Did she mention something about? I was right next to you. I grabbed her when she was trying to get away. Freaks me out a little bit.
Let's go. Yeah, now that you mention it, she did mention something about demons in the deep. But she also just there was a whole load of nonsense as well, which didn't really make that much sense to me. Maybe Obo has got a link or title or something like that.
Maybe she was Obo?
Could he disguise himself?
Yeah, he's disguised himself before.
What did any spidey senses tingling, or what did you think to that encounter? She was just crazy, or she was drunk, or what was your impression?
Well, as you just said, you were stood next to me. What did you think?
To me, she just seemed a bit like kind of out of it, but I didn't hear exactly what she said. It was like she was targeted on you. She was keen on talking to you.
Yeah, just some nonsense about demons from the deep and want to come up to the surface and take people down.
Do I believe Isla? That's the detail of what is said.
To be honest, both yourself and Ulfgar were in and around that area, but that happened quite quick. The message itself, when the hand comes out, it grabbed Isla, and the message was at Isla. So you would have been there to witness it, but like I said, the message was directed there.
Do straight up inside checking me to see if
Yeah,
tell the truth.
I was trying to check if
He wants to tell. He
believe it.
wants to straight inside check me to see if I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it, well, yeah, you were there to see it. You can insight check anyway if you want, so you can do the insight check and we'll see what the result is. But let's say okay, let's do it this way. You make the insight check with advantage because you were there and you heard that.
okay, okay.
I'll let you offset
19.
that with any roll you want. Watching for Isla.
And just is terrible.
I got 19.
11. Yeah, so you can tell, like, the words that Isla's saying, like, the words that were spoken and stuff, are true, and that she did say that, but probably not getting the full story of everything that Isla knows.
Wasn't there more detail? Wasn't there something about purple lips or something weird like that?
You wouldn't know that.
No, you wouldn't know that.
I thought you said I heard it.
She
No, that wasn't in that. That wasn't in that message.
Okay, yeah, well, we should keep an eye on that if they're linked.
Yeah, definitely think maybe if Obo's got something to do with her, we can figure out. And Isla kind of gives Tavis a bit of a look, not like angry or like questionable, but just like a bit of a look, and just kind of nods his head a little bit, and then just Isla like, right, I'm gonna get some rest, and yeah, I'll see you all in the morning. Isla kind of slides off.
Okay. So while Isla then moves away, let's have a quick go round and we'll see who's doing what. So Negan, you were the first into the room. What are you doing next?
I'm just sort of like literally gazing around the room, thinking what has happened, and then just slowly making my way back down to the bar area.
You're making it down to where, mate?
So back down to the where the bar is.
The main tap room, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start to head off that way. Ulfgar.
Ulfgar just sort of pops his head in to have a look. Just sort of shakes his head, turns around and walks back.
Okay. And you heading in the same direction as Negan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To go to bed.
Okay. Tavis.
I'm gonna wait around in the room till everyone's left, just inspecting stuff, having a look in. I was kind of back of the queue in terms of coming up the stairs, so just having a look what actually is around here.
Okay. Thorin.
I would like to do a lap of upstairs before I go down, just make sure that nothing else has changed up there, anything else that's weird. Make sure Ober hasn't been doing anything else. And I'd head back down and join Negan.
Yeah. I won't. You won't roll for this one. You have a look around, and everything seems to be quite contained to that. Or is contained to that room. Obviously, the manor itself is in much of a disarray, but it's empty, so you can get a good visual of what's going on. Yeah, it does seem to be just located in that room. So you head down to the tap room as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I hear Thorin go back down the stairs, I'm gonna just head up to where I know Tavis is. Isla generally been sleeping.
Yeah.
Gonna go and have a little knock on his door.
Yeah. So as far, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong. But
I think I might be.
I think you're on the same. I think you're on the same level, and you're opposite each other. So I think he was in the. I think you were in the attic bedroom, and Obo was in the attic storage. If you need me to send me the picture, I'll send it out. You should be able to find it on the group.
I'm trying back through.
My sister's just
Yeah, did you say I'm in the attic bedroom? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was in the storage room, wasn't he? I think you went for the smaller one.
Yeah.
I'd just go across the way and knock on his door.
I say yeah.
Mate, it's Tavis. Can we have a quick chat?
And as it says, yeah, come in.
Go say, sorry about that before. I was just those two things linked up weird for me. This writing that we've got here about the danger in the deep, and then talk about your mate, your mate Obo's written this potentially on the walls, and that random encounter in the street. It's like makes me just wondered if something was brewing or if there was a link. Is this guy Obo, as far as you know, is he all right? You've been with him for a little while at least, and so he's someone you trust, obviously.
Isla's he's kind of sat up, and just back to the wall, kind of chilling out. And, he doesn't really immediately respond to Tavis. He's kind of looking at him and kind of giving him a bit of a stare. And he just goes, Tavis, you've been here for a couple of days now. It's not gone beyond me of your heritage, shall we say. I've never seen you with your hood down. You've spoken about wanting to be part of this group. Something for me is trust. Can I trust you?
I'll only be able to prove that to you with time and with actions, I imagine. But I'd like to think you can. You've been accommodating to me. I've put down most of what I had to help us attain this tavern in terms of gold, and yeah, I've not told her any lies since I've been here.
And Hazel just says, will you let me see your face? And then we'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I am, so I guess we can do that if it's important to you. Like, what? Why is that a thing?
Trust goes both ways. Maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe it can be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, cool. I'll lower the hood. The hood stays on my head, but my face is exposed.
What do I see? Oh, curiosity.
Do you see?
What do you look like?
Yeah, like dark bluish grey skin, and that's you can just see the face. Not unattractive, fairly young, kind of youngish for half elf. And yeah, not that full elf and like full magical eyes, fairly like human in that regard. But yeah, that's what you see.
And do I know that he's part of the Grey Hand?
Yeah. Probably.
Yes. Yeah.
And alright. Izzy kind of looks at him and goes, there was more to what I saw before in Obo's room. You're part of a group called the Grey Hands, yes?
Yeah, like I'm fairly new in it, but yeah, I'm an initiate, they call me. That's the rank that I've acquired thus far.
Is the kind of nods. He goes, it just so happens that I've been initiated into a group myself.
It's weird, isn't it weird?
It's like, doesn't sound as weird as yours.
Do I want to be part of a group? What's yours called?
Says, for now, I'll keep that to myself. But with time, hopefully this can grow.
I mean, I suppose, pro quo, I can already see your face, so...
And just gives
It's equal.
him a bit of a wink. He says, part of my mission is that there's a narcotic that's come out of the Underdark. Now, forgive me in being so blunt. Don't forgive me at all. You're from the Underdark. That's where your heritage lies.
Okay, I mean, those two statements are not equally correct.
Yeah.
My heritage lies there. I understand that, although I understand very little of it. I've never been down there. I've lived all my life mainly amongst humans.
Have you ever, or do you know of anything? You've you've been round some nobility.
Yeah.
Have you heard of them ever talk about Lady of Decay? Be a fungus, mushroom maybe.
Doesn't ring any bells unless I would know that. DM?
No, it's not something you've heard.
No, new to me, mate.
Well, there's a new narcotic on the street. Lady of Decay. Fungus. Puts users into a deep sleep. Now, apparently, it's quite reputable among the nobles.
Right.
Now, I've been tasked to try and find the source of this distribution. I've got some leads.
In the Underdark?
No, in a tavern.
The surface distribution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I've been asked to get the information to try and put a stop to this because it's causing people a lot of harm, from what I can gather. And I want
Causing harm to the nobility that are fancying it.
just to the people. It puts them into a deep sleep, into a dream state. For me, it sounds like it's a bit of a drug to get you high and take you away from things, but it could impact people. And either way, it's illegal.
I mean, these things usually end up hurting those least well off the most.
Exactly. Now, there's a link between the woman and Obo. They both mention the demon and the deep.
Okay, got you.
Now,
I knew there was something.
and he just says, maybe we can make this the start of something mutually beneficial. Maybe you can ask some of your friends in the nobility if they've come across anything like this. Be subtle about it. You know, don't say it's for me or a cleric. Just say you've heard whispers on the street. You know, if you're asked with anything, I have some connections within the city as well. You know, maybe between us we can work together, but maybe keep it off the radar of our superiors.
Okay, I could do that. I mean, to be fair, the main thing I've been tasked with by the Grey Hands has been trying to get hold and locate and capture ultimately this assassin, and you've already given me a hand with that, much as, you know, that's led us as far as it's led us, so...
Well, I'm not assassin. I'll just say be careful. The group that he's with are notorious. Killed Lich Lords. They're not to be taken lightly.
I mean, he looked a pretty serious dude, but there's only one of him.
And just kind of with that Isla kind of has a bit of a yawn, just like flings off his boots, very nonchalantly, not really paying any care or attention to where they go. So if they hit him in the face, they hit him in the face. And he's like, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep, but thank you for sharing your trust with me. And hopefully I've not made a grave mistake in putting my trust in you.
I don't think you have, and I appreciate the offer. You are a bit of a dick.
And it just goes, fuck off. And just crawls into his bedroll, gets under his blanket, and just turns his back and puts his head towards the wall.
And Tavis would like to steal his shoes.
Yeah, roll a sleight of hand check. Roll a perception check for Isla as well. Or a perception or insight.
Who with it? What have you got?
18.
Perception or insight? Oh. Not very good. He steals my shoes.
Yeah, light-fingered. Yeah, he steals your shoes. So Tavis, you're leaving at that point here?
Yeah, I'll leave and place his shoes suspiciously in Obo's room. And then just shut the door and leave, go to my own room, and I'm done. That's a lot of interaction for Tavis.
Just to tidy up that a little bit, just to for those that are taking notes. So the information that you were given, Isla, was that the drug was called Emperinin, but there was a suspicion from the Harpers that it was a derivative of a drug that was found in the Undermountain, which is called Lady of Decay, and that drug is made up from a special fungus which is grown down in the in the Underdark, not the Undermountain, that's found down there. So there was a link between one and the other. But in the city, this new drug is known as Emperinin.
Everything you just said.
So it's like been distilled or something.
Yeah. I won't go into any more of that. That's just the conversation that was had.
Empyrean, which is derived from Lady Decay, which is the fungus from the Underdark.
When you spoke to Three Strings, that was the hunch that the Harpers or whatever else had. That was a hunch that they got. They'd seen a similarity between one and the other, which is why they think it's come from the Underdark, because they believe that it's connected to this. So they're not sure. They're not sure where it's come from. Not sure where the distribution is, and that was the whole sort of ask.
Like you said. Thanks for clearing that up. My notes are very short.
Yep, that's right. Like I said, once these notes come out, you just be able to stick them away and. Yeah. So with that then, Tavis, you start to make your way. Have you picked the room that you're sleeping in? Are you heading down to the tap room? Where are you heading?
Heading to. I think I tried to choose one of the master bedrooms on the 3rd floor, but if anyone's got anything counter to that, I can't fully remember.
I think that Negan has just been sleeping in the tap room for now. I think Ulfgar has always been sleeping in the tap room, and I think that Thorin was either in the bedroom or he was in the den. One of the two. I can't think which one it was.
I think I was in the den.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'll pick 3rd floor
Near the
master
balcony.
bedroom.
Okay. Yeah, with your own private bathroom. Yeah, you head down. You find this room, and you use this opportunity to set up some sort of base for yourself. Okay. So after leaving Obo's room of horrors, Negan, Ulfgar, Thorin, you head down into the tap room. What you guys want to do?
And no one else is in there either. It's no one else. But
No, there's no one.
Ulfgar sort of looks around and says, "Well, it's been a long day, gentlemen, and that's certainly given me the creeps. So it's all the same with you. I'm gonna get my head down for the evening. Negan, let's get those blades sharpened tomorrow, eh?"
Yeah, no, sounds good. Definitely need looking at.
Okay.
Man.
Thorin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go around to the bar. I'll grab myself and Negan a drink. And just nod to Ulfgar as he leaves.
Well, where are you heading, Ulfgar? Are you staying in the tap room, or are you finding a room?
So Ulfgar, after seeing that a drink is being brought over, proceeds to pour
See
himself
where it's
one
going.
and sit down.
Partaking. Okay, so you the three of you grab drinks. The fire which Tavis had lit is just gently burning in the background, and you gather your drinks and sit around the table.
Yes, says Negan. So you learn a little bit about me tonight. How about you share what you got against puppets? I think it's just that they're a little bit creepy.
It's the story that they're telling is unfortunately broken.
Yeah, it's you're breaking up there a little bit, Jay. It's sort of stuttering a little bit.
Hang on, I might swap to my phone quick just because I don't want this to mess it up. 2 seconds.
So while we're waiting on Jay, I like that. It was good interaction that between Nisler and Thurin. Good.
Yeah, that was quality, that.
I mean, I didn't have to do much, to be fair.
Oh, sorry, Tavis.
What's the matter? What are you talking about? PC. What the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid cat?
Settle down. Yeah, you're with us now, Jay, yeah?
Yeah. So
Spot on. Yeah, it's a lot better. Well, yeah,
Right.
spot on. So, Thurin was just asking about what you had, well, what Negan would have against puppets.
Yeah. So, basically, what that puppet show was of what happened to me and my master. I'm really said this in a long time out loud, is that I witnessed the murder of my lord. His name was Nori. I was the primary bannerman. He was killed by one of his advisors. I've never said this man's name out since, but his name is Yoshin. When a meeting was set between him and another dragon, my lord, both their forces together, his advisor was a black half dragon, Razmir, seduced my lord's advisor, who then stabbed my lord in the back. And when they saw me pull my axes out, Razmir shouted, "The lord has been murdered," and it was the bannerman that did it. So I fled, because I knew there's no way that I was going to get out of that room alive. But I had to get away. I couldn't go back there now, and that's what pushes me on now. The revenge of getting to Razmir and also taking out Yoshi as well. And that's what the puppets were about. They were telling my story, unfortunately, but they tell it a different way. Because obviously they say that Negan is the person that killed Nori.
It's quite a story.
It's not something I like to think about too much. Believe you me, if I ever come close to any of them, I will raise my axes and I won't stop until they stop breathing.
And Negan, if you would repeat those names for me.
So my master's name was Nori. His advisor, who was seduced, Joshin. And the half black dragon who caused him, seduced him to Joshin to kill him, called Razmir.
Thank you.
So, let me just give you guys just a quick, not insight into it, but a bit of background for what you know of races already within this world. So, Dragonborn, is a race of dragon-like humanoids, and that's what Negan is. He's a red dragonborn. A half dragon is a totally different creature. And these are a real strong derivative of the dragon itself. So just to give you that distinction between the dragonborn and obviously Negan saying about the half dragon. The half dragon is a different
Razmir
race.
is a half dragon.
Yeah, I tried to play it out as if I didn't say too much because I didn't want it to be like
No, it's okay.
I didn't want it to be like, oh, this is like a big boss thing. I just wanted it to be mentioned, and if anyone picked up on it, then I'd say.
Yeah. No, but you for what you are living in this world, you would know the distinction and when it was said. So
Yeah.
it's not like the characters would know that, the player wouldn't. That's why I'm making that.
Lord Nori, he meant a lot to you.
Yeah, all I knew was him. He was our protector. He was everything to us, and I wouldn't be the dragonborn I am now with him. To see him get taken out the way it was, and not being able to do anything about it. It haunts me. It really does.
You've experienced great loss.
I have. The things I've seen things you wouldn't believe. I've seen orcs send wave after wave into battle just to perish. Watch villages burn in night to fall to ash. All these moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. But I'll see them when I close my eyes, until it's my time to die, until it's my time to be reunited with Nori.
Someday you will be reunited with him.
I like to think so. But I'll be able to take the heads of the people that took him out to show him.
Well said.
It must have been a great man to command such respect from.
Yeah. He was everything. The teacher, he was like a father figure, he was everything. And didn't deserve that to happen, and I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have got closer to stop it. And as I do that, I obviously drink and then just like down my drink and then slam it down.
Elkrosh holds his glass up and says to Nori, and down his.
Thank you.
With that, Negan, the cup that you just put down, you see the cup just raising up in front of you, and then it slowly starts to make its way over to the barrel. You see it hang under the tap, and the tap open, close, and then drift back towards you, and then land in front of you where you placed it down. Full.
I got to reach it and then pull back and then grab it and then just say, Nori. Sort of look at it.
I never got that sort of service when I was here before you guys came.
That was most excellent.
I very much enjoyed.
That was amazing, man. Well done.
That has literally been written for a long time.
That's sick.
Yeah, I think you wrote that like sort of session 1, 2, 3, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like 18 months, 2 years old now, nearly.
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell, that's so cool.
Never been said.
No. I did the prayer once though.
Yeah. And in fact, Thurin, just roll a sort of think. Roll an investigation check.
Investigation. 16.
16. At the point where he says his master's name of Nori, that takes you right back to the death of the Black Spider. In the name of Nori is the final line that Negan said in his little prayer before he took her head.
Okay. Well, anything you want to share off, Gar?
Not tonight, gentlemen. But at some point soon, I would very much like to share. I think we've had enough revelations for one day, let alone one evening.
I hear that.
Just the three of you just roll a perception check.
Fuck's So, sorry, my other laptop's logged.
Yeah, I rolled
15.
Was it, sorry, perception?
Perception, yeah.
Oh, fuck, 7.
Negan, you catch it first. You start to hear a similar, well, a familiar squeak, if you like, on the window.
I just look at both of them and say, "Can anyone hear? Can you hear that?"
Thorin, you hear it next. You pick up on it next. Ulfgar, you see that the two companions that you're with are looking around to see if they can sort of make out what's going on.
I've got to notice this because the other guys noticed, not because he noticed.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds about right.
You're looking at you're like trying to look at whatever they're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Always similar to someone sort of smelling something, and then you go in, you know, just sort of trying to catch up. Negan, you're scanning. It takes a little bit of movement to catch the light right and to see where the sort of muck is being removed from the window. But as you look, in common, you see the letter U.
Sort of look around, and then I'm like, "Can you see this?"
look up and see the letter U.
Yeah. Then the letter L. Then an F. Then a G. Then an A. Then an R. And then a question mark.
Oh God, just sort of looks around the room and then looks in turn to the two gents with him. And just says, "Are you messing with me?"
No. Do you know what this is?
Don't have a clue, but I don't like it.
I think our friend here wants to know a bit more about you.
Oh God, just sort of looks around and just sort of says to nobody really, "What do you want?"
There's no audible sort of, you know, response to any of it.
If I'd been brought a glass of ale, then perhaps I'd be more willing to share spirits.
There is a long pause, and then your cup gets raised, very similar to Negan, and it hangs there for quite a few seconds before Thorin, your cup also gets raised, and you see as the two cups move off towards the bar. One gets placed down on the bar, and the other one is filled, repeated, and then brought back and laid on the table.
Is there any empty chairs nearby?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, you've kind of got sort of 3 circular tables with chairs just sort of around it. You've kind of arranged it to make almost like your boardroom sort of length of table, if you like, just sort of makeshift.
I look in the direction that the glasses came from, and when they're sat down, I say, "Pull up a chair, friend."
The chair moves away, so it's adjacent to Ulfgar. This chair just moves out.
take a sip of my cider. I motion to the empty chair and say to Ulfgar, "We're waiting."
Just out of curiosity, so in terms of what you carry, which is non-weapon, what would you have that was on show? The likes of your kits or your is there anything that the three of you would have?
So I've got on my character sheet, I'm a lute player, so perhaps I've got like some sort of musical instrument on my person, stringed instrument, little banjo, little ukulele. I don't know if they have them back then. Yeah. But that's probably the only visible thing I've got on me because I'm pretty strapped.
Negan?
I've got what?
Anything that's on you that's not a weapon, anything that's anything that you carry, anything that's in your pack.
Yeah, I've got a set of bone dice.
But that would be on your person, so it won't necessarily be seen. Thorin, anything? This is just a.
Yes, I would have a book that's visible, a little pouch for components, my la ring, a traveller's cloak,
Yeah,
maybe
so
my deck of cards.
yeah, so there's nothing on your person. I'm just asking out of curiosity, in terms of what the Spectre's seeing. Okay, so the chair's moved out, and you're assuming that he's in and around the. He's in that area, or they're in that area.
So Alfgar gestures to the chair with his drink in hand and just nods at it. Says, "Thank you, kind sir." Takes a sip of it and proceeds to sit down and try to sort of relax himself as if he's about to get some things off his chest. Sort of swallows and looks around the room and says, "The dwarf doesn't get to my age without experiencing a great many things. The rest starts at the beginning. We'll be looking maybe 250 years ago. My clan was attacked. It was a mighty clan. I mean, I'm sure every dwarf you've ever come across has said that. It was a mighty clan. We were attacked by a horde of orcs. And you just see like Ulfgar sort of gulp and really try to hold back a sob, essentially. And sort of through pursed lips, he just sort of says, "I watched my wife, my children, they were killed. I was powerless, and it haunts me. And my whole clan was dispersed, and I've spent many years in the hope that I could track one of them down and have that companionship again. The tattoos on my body represent the other clans that I've been welcomed into over the years. And although my ambition for coin is high on my agenda, my ambitions now are of unity and of camaraderie. I feel welcomed into this group, and I would like to say thank you for that. And to raise a glass to you all. He just raises his glass and downs it.
Raise mine.
Raise mine.
You hear the chair move again, and there's some time, obviously not knowing what is actually happening or moving. There is some time, and the metal grate door that had been moved over the fire, you've not seen that moved over before, but when you come down, it was there. You see that slowly open with a creak. Standing sort of upside down, if you like. There's like a metal pole, and it's sort of standing alongside the fire itself. You see it raise and turn, and you can see that it's actually a torch, and the torch is just levitating in the air, and it dips on its own, and you see the end of the torch just ignite and then raise up. You watch as it stays there for a few moments, and then it starts to float and move over towards the bar, where the bar is. And rather than going at the front of the bar where you've got your barrel, you see that it heads behind the bar. Ulfgar, this is the area that you were sleeping in most of the time that you were here. Most of the time inebriated and drunk, having spent what coin you'd earned in the day, and you see the torch move behind the bar and head out of the room into what is a pantry behind the wall behind that as you move out from the bar.
Ulfgar slowly follows it, clearly apprehensive, but his curiosity has sort of taken over him at this point. So he just follows it.
Thorin, Negan.
Yeah, I get up and follow, definitely.
Negan, is he there? Give him 1 minute.
Yeah, Thorin's pretty excited. He says to the room in general, looks like everyone's ready to share tonight.
There is such a thing as oversharing.
Okay. I wanted to get Negan in on this. Just see where he is. Just give him 1 minute.
Ulfgar just sort of says, I've seen a lot of strange shit in this manner. I haven't seen anything like this before.
In 250 years. You kidding?
Only in the time I've been in this manner, at least. I've seen some shit.
Looks like he's coming back. You there, Jay?
Sorry, mate.
It's alright, you're still breaking up, so I'm not sure if you've gone back to your other device or not.
No, I'm on my phone.
Right.
Is it reconnected?
Alright, okay. Are you following the torch with Ulfgar and Thorin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you see the torch itself. You can see the glow of the torch coming out from behind the bar, but you can't see the torch itself. As you get up and you make your way round, you can see that the torch is hovering just within the pantry itself. This just above, before you get into the pantry, it's just hovering, and you watch as it just dips ever so slightly. As it rises back up to its former position, you see the wooden hatch of the basement door just lifting and opening up. There is a waft of the flame, like a whoosh, and the flame starts to descend down into the basement.
Who's going first?
Is it light enough that I don't need a torch with that flame on?
Yeah, you can see that the light is obviously descending. You can see the glow coming from the basement below.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is everyone happy with that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Negan, you descend. The stairs are really creaking, worn, as your heavy weight is descending on these narrow and very steep steps that lead down into this cold, damp basement. You get in there, and you can see that there is a sort of a partition wall. There is what looks like there were old sorts of scraps of barrels and broken bits and pieces of wood. The place is damp. You can feel how cold it is down there. The torch is in the middle of this particular area, this ale cellar, and then it moves again, sort of going through this sort of five foot sort of entrance arched way into another only smaller room, and then it turns right and it heads towards the end of the room.
How quickly is it going? Is it
It's
walking place?
you get the feeling that it's waiting for you to catch up.
Right. Okay.
I just continue to follow it.
Yeah. As Ulfgar walks along, he just like wrinkles his nose and says, "Thought I smelled bad."
So, you're all in the basement now. Thorn, are you in there as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so you follow now the light, and for the three of you to sort of squeeze in to this sort of small area, you know, it is quite close in there. It's manageable. The three of you can get in there. The torch is ahead of you, and it moves up towards a wall. You can see that the wall is around you is stone. There is, it's all sort of stone and brickwork that makes up this cellar. But this particular wall that the torch is now almost butted up to, you can see is wood. And there's a lot of sort of wooden planking. You know, it's sort of rough, sort of nailed in place, all this wood to make this sort of wooden wall. And as you see it all illuminated now, you hear a on the wall.
Coming from the other side.
You don't think it's coming from the other side, no?
Right. Okay.
So is there anything I can sort of touch or move out of the way, or?
No, from where you are, you know, the three of you are sort of not like, you know, not standing directly in a line, but you're all sort of looking at this torch hanging, and this wood. You hear it a second time, and then the torch moves back from the wooden wall.
I mean, should we try and go through it?
Yeah, can I just sort of like reach my hand out and see if it's like the wood's like gone soft because obviously it's damp and everything down there, or if it's just.
Yeah, you having a quick look. Just roll a perception.
20.
Nice.
20. You can see that this is not something you're just going to be able to sort of, you know, if you were to sort of break it, and you know, it looks quite robust. It looks like it was built there to to last. It wasn't a sort of a temporary measure. You can see there's a lot of nails and pieces of wood on wood and that sort of stuff, and it is quite well fit into that wall. You can feel that there is damp in there, but not enough to
cause it to go soft.
Hmm.
And then now the torch is just hovering around about there.
Yeah, it's just moved back from that wall after that second tap.
Oh, go on
take
then.
my pack off and reach into it and pull out crowbar. And hand it to Negan as he's closest to the wall. So this might help you, buddy.
Cheers, man. Can I see like any like soft spots in it or anything that I would aim for, or is it
there's more. It's more sort of a layered approach. So the sort of the way you would sort of go with would just be to sort of take on the upper layers of it, if you like. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I will start just obviously going to town on it.
Just roll a straight strength check for me, please.
So a D20 and then plus my modifier.
Yeah, just your natural strength modifier. In fact, what is your strength score?
20.
It's 20 on there, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just do that check anyway for me.
Yeah. Well, 18 plus 5, which is my modifier. So yeah, 20.
Yeah, you get the crowbar in, and you just start popping. And you sort of see that it starts to come away. The nails, sort of pulling out of the wood. You get one off, and then a second one off. You see there's a gap now behind the layer behind, and you start to open these up. As you do, you can feel that there's a cold, sort of stale air coming out from whatever's behind it.
But there's no more knocking or anything like that.
No, the flamers moved back. The knock sounded like it was from this side of the wall.
Oh, okay, so yeah, it didn't like it was behind. Okay.
Yeah, you take a few minutes and start to prise at the wood, giving yourself enough of a hand grip to start pulling, and just sort of tearing out the wall. You get enough of it out to be able to sort of get a view, but it's dark within this area, and as you sort of pull and move, you just sort of move back. You see out the peripheral vision the torch moving over. To the alcove. The light itself, this beautiful red flame, as it gets closer to this gap, there is something behind it which is reflecting that light, and the room is washed with a brilliant red glow.
And even like in there, does that still feel like it's in the thing of like the building, or is it like underground and outward?
You feel like you're still within the confines of the build, yeah. Yeah, you get that this has been a false wall that has been put up,
boarded up
after the building's been built and whatever else.
Can I get through the gap?
You can, as you start to pull more, the torchlight is kind of like on an angle above you, and you start to just open things out. Ulfgar, just roll a perception check for me.
I was going to ask as well, actually, maybe it's what you asked me to roll for, but would Ulfgar, sorry, was it perception?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. For fuck's sake, 10.
10. You can't quite see what it is. The glow of it is quite metallic in nature.
And it's red, right?
And it's red, yeah. You see this sort of red glow, and that really piques your interest.
So that's triggered something in old Ulfgar's.
Yeah.
Yeah, noggin. Okay, yeah, I think I know. Okay, cool. Ulfgar just says to Negan, why don't you let me go in there and have a look?
I was thinking you probably would have to go first, mate, to be fair. Be safe, though.
Appreciate it. Alcor sort of moves in front of Negan, and at this point, is it just like a hole in the wall sort of thing? So he just pulls himself up and
Yeah, you've got it's a full space. The wooden planks were in a vertical pattern. So as he's been pulling them out, you've got an almost like a doorway. It's not as quite as wide as a doorway, but you can get up there now and you can sort of see and have a look within it.
okay. So walk in, sort of looking for this red light, the source of it. Is there anything I can sort of reach and put my hand on, or at this point we have to go a bit further?
I'm just going to pull you into the game room. 1 second. I'll just give you a bit of information.
Cool, mate.
Oh, we're right there, though.
Can't believe we're asleep. What are we doing sleeping?
I know, once he texts me, he's like, go and get me. I'm like, Dorian's not going to do that.
No.
You're not going to go, oh, hang on a minute, let me go get
Yeah.
Isla. No.
What if you need a cleric?
Then we'll go get a cleric.
Imagine though if he would have went to sleep when we had a drink.
Yeah.
I think it's nice that everyone's sharing. I mean, I've took no notes in my book. It's all on post-its, so I've got a lot of tidying up to do after this session already. I've got 4 post-its written already, and nothing in my book.
Well, though, isn't it? There's a lot of content without kind of like anything having to happen in the, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the story or the campaign isn't kind of moving on, but the stories of the characters and how we're intertwined is like growing massively.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good to see. Yeah, it should help bring everyone together too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be when we go to bed eventually. That's gonna be half time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then half a session in an evening.
Yeah, last 2 hours of an evening, or
Darryl will be buzzing now. So you're relieved to get that speech out?
Yeah, no, it was weird because it felt like I had this mysterious thing, and I feel like now it's sort of out. It's sort of not give it all away because it's not, but it's like it's definitely give like a big part of it away. But I feel like it needed to at some point. I feel like now the group's obviously the way it is, even though obviously 2 of them didn't hear the story. At least it's got that sort of got that legs on it, and I thought it was a good enough story with everything else that was in there, and just I think it's cool. And like how my characters are all based around, like Nagan is obviously the warrior that was murdered for 47. I don't know if you've heard the story of 47 Ronin.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously their master was killed, and then they were called Ronin. Obviously, they don't have a master to serve, so it's the same as Negan. Their master was named, I think it was Nagaromi, and obviously that's where I took my name from, Negan. And then obviously Rak is revenging some foreign language anyway, and it was all based around that. And then obviously when I came up with the story, well, me and Darryl came up with the story, obviously what had happened to Nori and stuff. It was it was just all there, sort of wrote itself.
Nice.
Almost like a movie.
My camera's off. Fucking thing. Okay, right, fellas.
Okay, yeah, Ulfgar, you the torchlight ahead of you, and you peer in through the gap, looking at this whatever's glowing back at you, which is red. You reach in. What do you pull out?
So you can't quite believe what he's holding, and you can see it as he turns around on his face. Basically, what you've got is sort of a diamond-shaped scale, essentially glowing, sort of brilliant red, probably about 2 foot by 3 foot in a sort of a diamond shape. And he's just looking at it, just completely astounded, and he trembles a bit, and he just sort of says, "I haven't seen this in a very long time."
So what you, as Ulfgar pulls out this this object, you can sort of see that it's quite curved. This is a metallic red. Think of like a brilliant cherry red on some sort of hot rod. It's that kind of really glowing, beautiful red. Although it's covered in dust, you can sort of see that there's elements of what look like leather binding around it in certain places. It's more shaped like a kite, so with your sort of like 2 edges and then sort of like quite long edges. It's sort of rounded, and then aside from the bottom edge, which comes to a point, the other 3 corners are quite rounded themselves, and quite smooth, and sort of, you know, really deep sort of curve on it. And as he pulls it free from the alcove behind the wood, you sort of see him looking at it with quite an emotional look on his face. As he does, the torch sort of descends a little bit closer towards what he's holding. The light shining off it, just so that Ulfgar can get a better look.
At this point, Ulfgar still have a look of shock in his face, and sort of turns to the torch and just says, "It can't be, surely. It can't be you, Liv." Can it?
With that, you see that there is a shimmer before you, and you see what you were looking at as a black space in front of you. This sort of dark room. You see before you a set of eyes, eyebrows, a nose forming, chin, mouth, ears, this head. Really, you know, Obi-Wan's ghost, if you like, that sort of blue, sort of ghostly sort of image and from the head all the way down, it starts to form. So it's not like it just arrives. It's just sort of like this. It's forming, like it's been, like as the light sort of moves down it, it's just forming away, and you see the image of an older human male. He is on one knee and he is holding the torch in front of you. You see that the hair is pulled back and into a ponytail at the back, sort of hanging down his neck. You see old, tired eyes and a quite, not like a really long beard, but like a good, you know, fair size beard. You see the remnants of what look like soft armor on him. He looks quite sort of, you know, not well dressed, but you know, of a good standard of what look like clothes on him. As you move around, you know, the entrance way that you came in, the archway, you can still see that. You can still see the brickwork behind him, and as you look around, you know, the brickwork is still there. He's a translucent, and you sort of see him look at you with a look of pride on his face, and he nods, holding onto the torch.
My old friend, how long has it been?
He's just nodding.
And we can see all this.
Yeah, you can see it. Once he called out his name, is the moment he started to appear.
Alcor looks at him and just sort of says, I have a number of questions for you. The most pressing one is, why did he get an elf a drink before me?
And he smiles, and you see that he rises up above you, your old friend holding the torch, and he moves his head, and you see him take the torch away and head back towards the stairs.
He's not like disappearing or anything, is he? You can still see him.
No, he's full. Yeah, he's in that form.
Alcor just sort of, I guess, not sort of pushes past, but not in a rude way. Just, just keen to keep lifting his sights after not seeing him for so long. Follows him up the stairs at a pace.
What's his name?
Lift.
LIF.
Yeah. He just sort of says, where are we going? What's going on?
Again,
questions.
there's no sound. You sort of see that every now and again he looks over his shoulder to sort of make sure that you're there, and that he's being followed, and he heads up back into the tap room.
Guy's just sort of following him and just holding this scale to himself, almost absentmindedly, just holding it very, very tightly. You can see that what it means to him is more than he can express at this point. But yeah, just continues to follow and to see what's happening next.
Negan,
Yeah.
Thorin?
We're completely in the dark now, though, aren't we?
If you're not following, then yeah.
Yeah. So we couldn't. I couldn't check the room just to make sure there wasn't anything else in there.
Have you got a light source?
I've got torches in my back, but I don't know. I don't think I've got my bag with me, so I think it's probably best that I just go upstairs.
I think from what you're, this is entirely up to you. If you wanted to go up and go and get a torch and come back down, that would be entirely up to you. But for the look that's on Ulfgar's face, you pretty much think that what was held behind that wall is what he's carrying. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was
a precious item.
I was taking it. But I just thought, but no, that's fine then. So I just sort of look at Thurin and say, should we follow him and see what this is?
Yeah, as the lights fade in, I just look at Negan like, holy crap.
This night's getting weirder.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Ulfgar, you watch as Lif. He walks past the fire. There is a sconce in the wall, a holder for the torch that he's holding, and he places it in, sort of illuminate that end of the room. You see that he moves back over to the chair that he was, where you thought he was sat when he was sat next to you. And he sits down and he puts his hands on his legs and he looks at his hand, and you sort of see him just sort of checking out his own self, if you like. He's holding his hand up and looking at it.
Of course, just staring at him really in disbelief, and just says, "You look how I feel." Can
Yeah,
you explain?
You sort of see him like he wants to sort of communicate, but there's no sound.
I've got like starting to get a little bit agitated because you can see him, but he's not heard anything from him. He just sort of says, "Can you speak? It's been so long since I've heard your voice."
Thorin looks round. Is that makeshift Ouija board anywhere nearby?
Have you got any info on that one for us? I know Isla's in bed getting his head down, but
It's in Isla's pack. And he did it on a piece of paper. This
yeah, did he keep hold of it? Did he, or did he leave it out on the table?
put it back with him.
Put it back with him.
Yeah. And it's in his pack. It's not on his person. So it'll be in the room. But yeah.
It has only been it's not been an enormous amount of time before he went to bed, but
I was going to say, maybe you should say to Theron, maybe we should go wake Isla up. Go get Tavis.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm assuming he can hear.
Yeah.
Can you hear? He can
Yeah.
hear.
yeah.
I meant Liff. Can he hear?
Yeah. You see, he seems to be responding, and he's sort of he's responding to what you're doing, and when you spoke to him and things like that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So conscious of how he's presented himself and the situation before that, I say to him, Liff, do you mind if I go get the others?
He sort of looks at Ulfgar, and then he looks back and he just shakes his head. He doesn't seem to be. Yeah, he sort of nods and.
Okay, so I'll go get him. So I leg it upstairs and burst into Isla's room and just grab hold of him and I was like, you gotta come and see this. Bring that stupid piece of paper you had before when we were speaking to the spirit. Bring that. Where's Tavis?
Yeah. I'll say not fully drifted off. Isla kind of starts to HC story and goes, yeah, no worries. Like jumps up, goes to grab his boots, sees that they're not there, kind of doesn't get another second thought, goes to his pack, pulls out his old boots and pulls them on, grabs the piece of paper and follows Thorin.
Okay.
Although as he's leaving the room, following, he's looking around, like seeing if he can see his boots.
Do you know where Tavis is?
No, not a clue. He said he was going to go to bed, but he didn't say where.
Which room he had gone to.
I cast Thaumaturgy again on myself, and 3 times louder than what my normal voice is, just to Tavis, get downstairs, and just then start running, following Thorin.
This makes Ulfgar jump and he just falls off his chair.
Yeah. Lift sort of looks up, like towards the sound.
As I get down the stairs, I say sorry. We got a little excited. I'm running.
Yeah, as we're going down, Isla just kind of goes, "What's going on?"
So I'm a light sleeper, and I'll be outside of my room probably because it's a story below Isla and where Thorin is. I'll probably be coming out of my room, saying what's going on at the same time there. I'm heading downstairs, probably at the same time they are.
Yeah, so you all head down together. Just while that's happening, Ulfgar, Nagin, what are you doing? Well, Ulfgar, what are you doing with the item that you've got? Are you just laying that on the table, or?
I'm holding it constantly. I've sort of I've relinquished the sort of insane grip on it, but it's still very much, on my person. I guess I'm just sort of, you catch me sort of staring at it and then staring at Liv.
I just turn around to Wolfgar and say, Wolfgar, what is it?
I think this is something that needs to be said in front of everyone. Or is everyone there now?
Yeah, you can sort of hear like running upstairs, like just like there's just feet in every direction, and then you start to hear then as those feet there they start to run down the stairs, and you see Thurin and Isla come down the stairs, and then momentarily after that you see Tavis enter the room as well.
As I'm coming down the stairs with Isla, I quickly say to him, "The spirit's back, but we can see him, and he knows Ulfgar."
Right. Yeah, Thorn can't see it, but Isla's got a bit of surprise and excitement on his face.
Yeah, as you turn the corner, you're not really expecting to see what you see, and you see the image of that. I wouldn't say he's not elderly. I'd say stately individual, which is sat next to Ulfgar. This sort of individual is sort of made up of like I said, definitely the Obi-Wan ghost, if you like.
Okay, this is pretty cool. How come you onto the message board? Can you not speak?
Gentlemen, let me introduce a very close friend of mine, who was a very close friend of mine many years ago. His name is Lith. He goes by another name, which I guess if we're doing introductions, I should tell you. Hector Brooms. Lith to his friends.
Beg your pardon? Say that name again.
Hector Brooms.
Nectar.
Hector Brahms.
Okay.
So, Hector Brahms.
You look surprised. Do you recognise this name?
I do.
The characters don't.
I don't. Isla doesn't. I do. Can I roll a random history check, see if I've ever heard of the name? As he's up.
Ooh, it's going to be a high DC, but yeah, you can do.
So we don't actually know this name.
No,
You don't know it.
It's just because he asked, do you know this name?
Oh.
Nope. 12 plus whatever. It's still fine.
Yeah.
It needs a natural 20, but hey. No, I've never heard of him. Who is he? Is he dead or?
Until about 5 minutes ago, I would have said yes. I think he was dead, but I mean, I can put my hand through him, so I'm assuming he is still very much dead.
I mean, I reckon he probably rather you didn't.
Would I know anything about whether he's a ghost or anything religious or anything undead or?
I don't think it's enough for the check. I think that I don't think you would necessarily know the inner workings of a spectre or a ghost per se. Clearly, something has changed here. The dynamic has changed slightly for him to go from being unseen to now being an image of a stately gentleman.
Well, get the message board and hand it over to Ulfgar.
I get that this is your friend Ulfgar, but what is that you're holding?
I looks down and says, sort of realises how hard he's been clutching this sort of kite-shaped thing, and he says, "This is a a red dragon scale.
What? Okay, yeah.
This isn't just a red dragon scale. This is from Tiamat. I've got just sort of looking around the room for
Have I heard of Tiamat?
Yeah, everyone in the room will have heard of Tiamat. Yeah.
and you're probably
So for those that aren't actually aware of Tiamat, so Tiamat is the very malevolent goddess of dragons. She is a 5-headed chromatic queen of dragons. Every head is a different colour. So there's a red head, fire breathing. There's a black necrotic head. There's a white frost, a blue, which is like a sort of electrical. This is every dragon head. She is the queen of a goddess of dragons, who has always had. It's always been her plan to take over the world in some iteration. She was banished many years ago, hundreds of years ago, in fact, into the 9 hells.
And Tavis would know this.
Everyone would know. This would be like, this would be almost like the telling of Noah's Ark to kids. It would be the one of the tales that you would know, regardless of your creed and where you come from.
Should you be holding it? Is it safe? Like, where was it, and shouldn't we put it back?
you're
Yeah,
probably
that is a better question, I think.
you're probably wondering how a lowly dwarf, a simple blacksmith, has come into possession of this remarkable item.
Was it yours before?
When he said a simple blacksmith, can I insight check it?
Yeah.
Dewberry Firkin up. Oh, natural 20.
You get the feeling that that this isn't Ulfgar's only profession. That there's more to Ulfgar than meets the eye. But you, in the brief time that you've known Ulfgar, he seems to be someone that lives, by looking 5 minutes ahead. And in that sort of lifestyle that he's had to adapt, and he's had to turn his hands to various things in order to survive. And he's picked up quite a lot in his 100 odd years on the earth. So, yeah, you don't sort of see it as being the simple blacksmith, no. But you don't get the out and out lie that you would normally pick up on.
It kind of gets that feeling of Gandalf the Grey when Frodo's got his mithril, chest plate on. It's like more than meets the eye type of look. That's the vibe I'm giving. But let's all go.
As to your question, Tavis, it was mine, but it also wasn't mine. My friend here, who was kindly graced us with his presence, it belonged to him. We spent many years travelling, and now I believe he's bestowing it upon myself. If we can communicate with him, then perhaps we shall know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for that. I just want to make sure we're immediately safe with this thing out in the open? All the history, all the power.
Oh, we're safe. Don't you worry about that.
I just sort of say to Wolfgar, so you've been staying here for ages and you knew nothing about this.
I've consumed my fair share of ale over the last few years. I had no idea.
So you've not been in town much longer than the rest of the party. You've probably been in a few months at best. And for all intents and purposes, Ulfgar literally goes back there when he's drunk, falls asleep, gets up, and then goes out. You know that Ulfgar's not got a penny to his name, because literally whatever he earns that day gets spent in the tavern. Enough to become drunk and then go back. So over the last sort of couple of days for you, Ulfgar, these are probably the most sober that you've been in quite some time.
Yeah, Ulfgar just sort of continuing to stare at the scale, almost caressing it. And just sort of says to himself, never seen as much power as this thing possesses. I never thought I'd see it again. I thought it was lost.
What power?
It's a red dragon skull. It's your imagination. Can we get that Ouija board set up?
Yeah, do it. Let's not be rude to our guest.
No, start
Or are we his guest? I don't even know.
unpacking it. But I can imagine a great deal of things. Is it a shield? Is it a weapon?
It was a shield, and also a weapon. Incredible strength.
So Ulfgar, for what you know of it, it was a shield, and it had special properties when it was in contact with fire.
So Ulfgar just basically repeats what DM just said, and adds on to the end of it that I only ever saw my friend here using it. It was his possession. However, I know that we're safe with it because it has been bestowed upon me now. My friend here thinks I'm ready to take up that mantle.
Isla just looks from the shield, looks up at Negan, and then looks back at the shield.
And I look at Isla, knowing what he's thinking, and then I look at Ulfgar. I say, so if I was to breathe fire onto that shield, what would happen?
Maybe we should test it out at some point.
What, indoors?
Perhaps not indoors, perhaps in a wide open space. You've only just bought this place after all.
Okay.
This sounds like a great idea.
I sort of blow a smoke ring out and then say, well, let's talk to your friend.
Yeah. I've set the Ouija board up.
Okay, so with that, with the board being set up and it is 9:20, should we have a quick break? Right. So the £1,000 sisters, subscribe. Right. So yeah, you've just rolled out your parchment, Isla. it was very Ouija board-esque with the series of letters. There was yes and no at the top of the page, if I remember right. And I can't think what were we moving around. I can't think what was being moved on it.
Charcoal, I think. Did you have charcoal?
No, we didn't use
I
that.
thought we took charcoal from the fire.
We've got charcoal to write on it.
I'm not sure if you were moving a cup. I'm not sure if it was a cup or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I thought it was a coin or a stone.
Yeah, perhaps. Well, you just need, obviously.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
I put one copper piece down on the table.
Mark it off.
I'll mark it off.
he mark it off. Yeah, he. All right, no need to be facetious. He. You sort of see as Liff sort of looks around each of you, and he's moving very much like any of you are moving. Like, you know, it's not like a delayed. It's not slow. It's he sort of see that he's sort of moving his head back and to and eyeing each of you in turn. He's obviously seen you. He's obviously felt your presence within the. But he's just sort of taking the scene in.
Question to DM.
Mhm.
Tavis, I have cartographer's tools.
Yeah.
Would that include parchment and a writing implement?
I would imagine so. Yeah. I would
Right,
imagine you would have had ink and quill.
Yeah.
Parchment.
So I'd suggest Tavis gets out his cartographer's kit, hands over some ink, quill, and parchment, like towards Liff. Asks if he can use this to communicate, hoping that it'll be quicker than the Ouija board system.
It's a
Good
look
thinking.
Okay.
Was that sorry?
Isla looks enviously at his cartographer's kit.
I'm not sure whether Tavis would see that or not.
Felt it.
Am I
Felt
supposed
it,
to?
yeah.
Yeah. Look.
Felt the eyes. Okay,
Check
yeah.
out
So you
this.
so you see that the quill gets picked up, and you sort of see him looking at it, sort of twirling at his fingers.
Well, over to Ulfgar.
First question I've got to ask is, are you bestowing this upon me, gesturing to the scale?
Straight down to business. I love it.
You see the copper piece moving over to yes, over on the. He reaches across the table and he just moves the copper piece over.
And his next question is, did you die with valor?
He picks up the quill, and he dips it, and you sort of see it, you know, above the parchment. And he just writes the word unsure.
Of course, says, how long would it take? Well, of course, says, are you able to write it in brief?
You sort of see that he has like a bit of a. Looks like he's sort of having a bit of a chuckle. And then you see the words being written in time.
At this point, I've got sort of after seeing that is visibly quite shocked and taken aback. Sort of takes a step back as if welcoming other questions to live at this point.
Isla just says to Ulfgar, sorry, what's his name again?
With that, you see the quill before Ulfgar can say anything, and you see the quill dancing on the parchment, saying, "My name is Lif, Lif."
And I say, Liv, can I ask you, are you at peace?
And you sort of see him sort of sit back, and you see his mouth moving, to the words of "Am I in peace?" But no, obviously no sound coming from him. You then see the quill moving, and it says, "I wasn't." And then below it, he just puts a question mark, and he just sort of shakes his head. You sort of see him sort of shrugging his shoulders.
So you're at peace now? Are you bound to this plane of existence, or do you seek to be released?
You see as he's writing, he's mouthing out the word. He sort of as he's writing it, and he writes the words. It was a heavy burden.
Ulfgar?
Ulfgar says, what was a heavy burden?
Would Ulfgar know what heavy burden was?
In terms of,
am I assuming it's the scale? I would only know that.
Yeah, the fact that there was a responsibility.
Yeah.
To it. Yeah. So what question are you asking then, Isla?
So he said he had a burden, didn't he? So I'm asking Ulfgar, do you know what his burden was?
Ulfgar just takes a look at the scale and looks back at Isla. Just says, "What have in my hands?" And then he turns to Lif and says, "My friends, it's sad to meet under such peculiar circumstances. Thank you for this gift that you've bestowed upon me. Is this all you have come back for, or do you have a task for me?"
Yeah, he starts to write, and he says he writes no, no task, and then he puts 3 dots, and you see him move the quill below, and he says he then writes it's nice to see someone breathing life back into this old place. And he sort of looks around the tap room.
Is this your place?
You see the writing. For many years, yes. This is my home.
Why did you wait till now to reach out to Wolfgar?
And he writes, I don't know.
Isla just kind of mutters under his breath, probably because he was pissed all the time.
Wolfgar takes a swig of ale and just laughs.
He writes below it, I was nothing before Ulfgar, but I feel I'm getting stronger every day. And he puts below it, I don't know how to explain.
Just sort of look at Ulfgar and say, when was the last time you saw your friend not floating?
Long time ago.
Ulfgar would have been a young dwarf.
Okay.
Liv, are you actually dead?
You sort of see him like, yes.
Ulfgar looks over to Liv and says, these fine fellows our own establishment. Would you want us to restore it to its former glory in your honour?
You see that at this point he puts his quill down, and he stands up. He walks over to the keg of Rimple's cider. He takes 2 cups, pours out 2 ciders, and he walks over and he places one down in front of Isla and one down in front of Tavis. And then he writes underneath, where was my manners?
We went to sleep on you, mate. Don't worry about that. But hold up the pint and cheers in his general direction. Say, very, very good to meet you. And that stunt you helped us pull on Casper. Hats off. Respect.
I was already drinking it. I didn't bother raising a cheers.
He nods. He nods, and you can see that there's almost a look of sorrow at that mention of what had gone on with Casper.
I just ask Liv, has your spirit left this place at any point to be around the town?
And you just writes no.
So forgive my ignorance, but have we messed something up there in that interaction with Casper that day, and what could become of this place?
You see that you have to sort of crowd around now to sort of see the script.
Yeah.
And he says, he starts to write that he's seen people being pushed about before. He's seen people take, or creatures take, what was never theirs, and it doesn't sit right with him, and that's why he did what he did.
I say to Liv, you're obviously by the age of Ulfgar. You're either in this town a long time ago. Ugh, you know this embezzled money. This is to you now. How
Yeah.
long ago do we reckon it was embezzled? Like talking hundreds of years. Good
No.
period.
No. You're sort of talking within the last sort of 10 years. For what you know, this is the embezzled gold is quite a recent thing.
Trapped on it.
What's that? Sorry.
No, but it's retractor. I've got nothing to carry on with at the moment. Question wise.
Were you in the town when the Black Viper was here?
About 100 years ago, innit?
Yeah. He says yes. He just writes yes below. So then you see him mouthing the words, and he starts to write, and he says, so I've introduced myself. Why don't you introduce? And as he's about to write the next word, you hear his voice saying, yourselves, and he looks stunned by that himself.
I've just reacts instantly and just turns around and says, "Liv, I've not heard your voice in over 100 years," and goes to like sort of shake his hand as if he's actually in the room. Guess just passes through.
He reaches out his hand, and you feel that there is something there. But as the only way to describe it really would be like you were passing your hand through water. So you feel like that there's a resistance there, but as your hand then makes its sort of way through, he can pick up things and whatever else, but it's a bit of an art. You know what I mean? It's not something he's wholly adapted to. You do feel that there is a resistance there with the hand, and he sort of looks around and.
Just a quick one. How do I feel? Do I feel as strong as I ever have, or do I feel like I'm getting weaker? Can I sense any magic or arcane energy flowing through the area towards where Lith is?
I think from a well, make an Arcana check.
This is getting
terrible. 2 seconds.
Okay.
Arcana. Straight roll. 2.
Is that right hand?
Are you rolling with the wrong hand?
Yeah, I've got it.
5.
No, you don't. You're not picking up anything in terms of Arcana, or if you were to be looking for some sort of fuel, or fuel or whatever that would be perpetuating this spirit. and forming this spirit, you're not picking up on that. This seems like its own sort of self-contained entity.
But I feel okay.
You feel as you've always felt. Yeah, totally fine.
Cool.
I'd like turn to the group and just says, what do we all know about life after death? Does anyone know anything about this?
Or what, sorry?
Life after death.
Would I know anything about life after death? From a clerical view?
No, I would say no. I'd say other than what you would have heard of ghosts and you would have heard of specters and whatever else, but you wouldn't know what triggers it, how it works. You don't really know the, want of the better word, mechanics of it. So Liff looks at you and he's got like quite a sort of a rasp in his voice, and he sort of says, "So again, I'm Liff."
I'm Thorin.
It's nice to meet you, Thorin.
It's nice to meet you. I've enjoyed your assistance and your antics.
At first, I was nothing. I found a dwarf, and he looks at you, Ulfgar, and he says, that I didn't even recognize. You have grown much older than I last saw you.
And wiser.
It's Lola.
I'm drunker.
And he sort of looks at the rest of you, and he says, before that, there was nothing. I arrived back in the tavern. I could see what it's become. It never looked like this when I was here. This was always roaring with people and laughter and stories of adventures. And then you arrived, and I could feel that. I could feel more myself. I could feel memories coming back and returning. I couldn't reach out. I tried to push you out the door one day, and I couldn't do anything. And then I found that if I focused hard, I could write. I thought I'd show you how you shouldn't be in my house. You shouldn't be here. I can't return it to what it was. It needs people and life. But the more you stayed, the stronger I got. I was able to move that chair. I was able to move the cups. I felt myself returning. When you said my name, I could feel my body. I could feel this coming back to me. It is good to see you, old friend.
Just Liv, you asked for introductions, and my name is Tavis. I don't know if you've been here the whole time we've been here, if you've heard everything we've said, but I've met this group not very long ago. Your friend Ulfgar, very recently, but I'm pleased to meet you. I've been entertained, as our friend said, about with your antics, and I wondered, what do you want now? What could be next for you?
I don't know. I don't know how long this will last. The scary thing is it might leave me tomorrow. The scary thing is it might last for an eternity.
Do you want to stay here to find out?
I don't think I can ever truly leave this place. I don't think I'd ever really want to. It's been nice to have some company. I want you to make this your home. I feel that while you're here, I will be here.
Gentlemen, would you be happy to do this? Put in the work to make this place a home again.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to do that, but I think it might need a new name. What about Live After Death?
Perfect.
That is brilliant.
Live after death. Yeah. That is brilliant.
Sounds like you just wrote the title of Volo's next book.
Now tell me, Liv, do you feel solid enough to have a glass of ale?
I'll say by this point, Isla's already disappeared back through, and he comes back with, bear with me. He's one beer short, put it that way. Gives one to Negan, Thorin, Tavis, and one to the Spectre. Just looks at Ulfgar and goes, think you've had enough, mate.
A dwarf decides when a dwarf has enough. Just stops over and pours himself on.
Seems like Ulfgar's more into spirits these days.
Ulfgar just doesn't get that at all. He sort of like looks around at you all laughing and just sort of shrugs and goes back to his ale.
Yeah. Liv says, it's good to see that the pun survived.
Just barely.
I don't think
He rages the he does raise the glass, and he does put it to his lips, and there's not necessarily a sip, but more of a tip. You see the liquid just fall onto the seat, and then he puts it down.
He's a cleaner drinker than you, Ulfgar.
I feel I have limitations.
As do we all.
for now. As we've seen, you're only getting stronger.
Well, we should test out this shield at some point, that's for sure.
Isla's
like
eyes.
well
Yeah, for what you're looking at. Well, how tall is Isla?
3 foot.
Yeah, so like this is almost a body shield.
Full cover.
Yeah, or yeah, it would almost be full cover. Yeah.
Tower shield for you.
I'm proficient with shields, you know. Ulfgar.
Pick him up.
Say again.
Me. I'm proficient with shields, you know. Pretty good with them. Got one of my own.
Good luck getting him to put that down, ever.
I'll get him a beer. Blue beers. Don't break your hand. See him.
Oh God, he sort of shakes his head.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do?
Time roughly is it now after this?
I would say that this was a good 2 hours now, so you're probably looking about midnight.
Yeah.
Bedtime.
Yeah, I think that's about.
Oh God, just sort of says like, well, you're all in my quarters at the moment, so
Yeah, I'm peacing out. As I'm walking off, I say, Tavis, quick one.
Go on.
Do you take my boots?
No, it's Obo, mate.
Insight check.
Oh my god!
I think with advantage because we know.
No, it wasn't what you were supposed to. You were supposed to know. I was joking.
Yeah, you're supposed to know that was facetious.
I wasn't lying. I was being a joke.
Isla doesn't get it.
It's a social cue.
Yeah, it doesn't get it.
He's gonna roll low anyway.
Yeah, and this is where we find out Isla is gullible.
Yeah.
What check would it be? Insight.
Yeah.
24.
What am I supposed to do?
I'd say with being facetious, it would be a performance check or a deception check with disadvantage.
Yeah. Yeah. 18.
Oh my god. Cool. Yeah, where are the boots, my man?
Told you. We're in Obo's room.
Go off and get my boots. Like in a bit of like a proper, in a teenage style strop.
Dumping.
Yeah. Go get my boots, springing and striding back. And I go to bed in them.
That's to keep your feet dry.
I roll my eyes and I say to Liv, speaking of Obo, he was here when we went. We seem to have missed him. You see anything of him? Anything we ought to know?
He comes and goes. He seems to sleep a lot in the day. I hear screaming.
how
He'll
often?
suffer with nightmares.
I don't go, but I stay in the tap room. I don't venture further than this, really. Not really my place to go and pry.
Does he come here most days while we're out?
No.
Thanks.
He's always alone.
He used to be how he likes it, isn't it? With that, I just sort of finished my drink and then just sort of put my feet on the table.
You see that Lift gets up and he starts to lock and bolt the main entrance to the front door. You kind of get the feeling that he's doing things that he has done in the past, repetitive things, you know.
Yeah, almost doing them without thinking.
Yeah.
Well. Night, guys. Look forward to seeing you again, Liv. I head up.
It was nice to meet you, Thorin. Okay, so you head up. Isla, you've gone up. Ulfgar, Negan, Tavis.
Yeah, I'll just bid a good night to Lith. I think I'll just say, Lith, as far as I can tell, this place is yours. The laws of this land and this city, well, potentially haven't even been here as long as you have. So, any ideas you've got, anything you want to see happen, for my money, let us know and we'll try and make it so. But good night.
Good night, Tavis. Ulfgar, Negan.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like drifting off now, sat at the table, with my legs on the table.
Ulfgar looks at Liv and sort of says, "It's astounding to see you here again, my friend, after so long. But please tell me why you've bestowed this great gift upon me. Why couldn't it stay hidden? Said it was a burden. I appreciate the gesture, but I need to know why."
I carried that scale for many years. And although it is useful, although it saved me from many a scrape, although it's not a powerful magical item, an artifact, it most certainly is. There are those that are out there that would use this as a relic of worship. Those who seek Tiamat. I never really understood it, all of its true properties. And although I understood how it saved me, I never knew whether it was part of a larger scheme. If it was to be coupled with another, how would its powers alter and change? And because of those unknowns, I brought it to this city. I hung up my boots, I put on an apron, and I served ale. I locked it away to keep it safe, and I never mentioned it to anyone. eventually it will be found. Eventually this building will be torn down and that will be found. I would rather it was found now and put into the safe hands than to be found 100 years from now and used for evil. You were there, Ulfgar. You were there
So I was.
in that druid temple of Tiamat. You got into that room. You got into that room and you took the scale. It should be yours.
Well, thank you. It's been a long time since I've thought about that evening. Thought about the warrior that I once was. In fact, say very recently that I've had any sort of unity with a group of people until these fine gentlemen you see before you this evening, and I accept your offer with the greatest of appreciation. What interests me is the possibility of coupling it with another scale of power.
Then I have put it into the wrong hands.
Not to use, but to study.
I strongly advise that you keep this away from anything to do with Tiamat, with those that follow.
You always were learning, my friend.
May it keep you safe. Now, well, I don't know what happens now. Do I sleep? Am I awake? He gets up and he walks towards the bar, and where the bar starts, it's almost like there's almost like there's an invisible sort of line, like door, and as he disappears around, as he goes around the bar, his form is just fading from the front to the back, and he disappears, and you hear a voice from around the corner saying, "Sleep well, Ulfgar." And gone.
Ulfgar just sort of runs over to like where he disappeared, jumps over the bar, and just sort of like clutching it in air.
Acrobatics check.
With pleasure. I'm quite acrobatic as a dwarf, I think. Sorry, fucking laptop.
10 pints deep.
You're 10 pints. Well, does it improve his performance?
I'd say it definitely does. Proves his confidence, that's for sure.
Ask his missus.
Yeah, is it disadvantage when he's sober?
Yeah. What was it? Have you done it? Oh, we're rolling.
11.
11. You get up there. Surprisingly, for your stature, you get up there. You clip a heel and you kind of barrel roll over onto the other side, onto the flat of your back. As you sort of look up into that dark passageway, the darkness of the pantry, you can't see anything.
He just clawing at the air and screaming at the top of his voice, just devastated to have been so close to somebody that he lost, and to have them taken away. He's crying, probably gets to the stage where it's actually a bit awkward to be around for everyone else. And then he just sort of slumps on the floor, just sobbing.
You at that point you hear the voice again saying, "Do get some sleep, Ulfgar."
That just stops him sobbing straight away, and he realizes he's making a fool out of himself. Just looks around at the group and just says, "My apologies." Goes back to his scale.
Okay, so with that then, you cozy up to the scale. Negan, you're already asleep. Everyone else is in their room. There is a uneventful night. Quite peaceful. Within the manor. And you wake up to sunlight, sound of birds. Each of you. Right, have a quick think about what you wanna do. Because I want to try and wrap up the next half an hour. I'm just nipping upstairs because I can hear me, lads. So just 1 sec.
Cool. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Anybody got any? It's the burning issue.
What about this this pirate geezer that you met down the dock area?
Could check that out. He very much freaks Tavis out. He's like very much drawing unwanted attention. Like, and the whole circus freak vibe is not down with it.
So, if he fucks around, we can just use the shield. See what happens.
Yeah, so that's definitely a thing we could pull on and go with it. Don't mind.
No, what else have we got on?
Down the docks anyway. We've got the Bran Blackwood thing, haven't we? Like, his ship might be down there. Is it the Rotten?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've already visited his ship.
Yeah, it's only
There's nothing doing.
No,
No.
someone went on there and took something and then sort of went cold.
we had like 4 things to look at, didn't we?
Yeah, so we wanted to go and scout out that area where we think the Red Viper might next try and attack.
Yes. What was the name of the street?
Got it. It's in my dinghy.
I got your nut.
Got it. Kind of. It is 2 different maps. It was basically around where the race was, wasn't it? So
yeah,
it was around. I mean, we figured it out last time, so I'm sure Daryl could tell us. It was around, I think, like the end of the wagon
race.
Ah, the end of the wagon race, yeah.
Did we have what information did we have down there? Shop or something you want to visit?
it was Salaba Street. I think we wanted to look at.
It's I think it's where Salabar Street meets the wagon race.
Yeah.
That's roughly where the end of the question mark was. The map that the Red Viper had left looked like the potential net.
Yeah.
Like,
it was definitely that block.
Yeah, the question mark's in that block. And did
we get a link on what the other hits were? Somewhere because I'm sure
we know all the others, yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I'm sure we had somewhere that we wanted to stake out, didn't we?
Yeah, it was that shop. There was a big shop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go do that and do a divide and conquer sort of have some people on the stakeout and some people in the shop and some people.
Because we're still waiting on Sildar to come back. We're still waiting on. Well, Obo's waiting on Bjorn, is it, to come back? But I'll be at Rimple's. Because Rimple will be fuming.
Rimple already was fuming. He's already been back.
Mm.
Has Rimple tied him up, remember?
Yeah, but he'll be even more fuming if he goes back again.
Isla wouldn't remember that. I mean, I know you're talking about your notes, but Isla wouldn't remember that. That was, I don't think that was ever really discussed with the group after Thorin and Negan went there.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so the Red Vipers stole a black opal, a war mask, pink diamond, gold chalice, and something else. I didn't write down what the fifth thing was.
You want to stake out? We've got the power captain.
Yeah, I think
A brooch was the fifth.
a brooch.
What was it?
There's a black opal from House McCalthia, something. A war mask, chalice, a brooch, and a pink diamond.
Yeah.
And they've all been gone in the last 6 to 10 days. So in some ways, that's the most time sensitive thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, she might have already stolen it yesterday when the race was on. Use the race as a distraction. That's what I'd have done.
And then she's like all about the bravado. She almost wants
Yeah, she
Feel
almost wants to
right.
get caught, yeah.
the calling card. She almost wants to rub your faces in it. Like, I did it right under your nose, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, that could also be the time when there's the most witnesses.
Literally everyone's there.
Yeah, but they're all watching something else. But yeah, I get it. It's true. True. Either way is true.
That's where all the town's guard were, though.
Well, I think that's time sensitive. If we're going to help,
I mean, we can always go down to that area and ask the town's guard if anything was stolen yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think we all need to do that.
No.
if we're going to help with that, I think we need to try and help with it now, because otherwise she's going to have had it off and it's done.
Yeah, I agree.
So, who was Aelin Hairlit Tom?
Sildar.
And it was Sildar that says on this kind of mission, wasn't it?
Yes.
Sildar brought this whole side of little bit of a mission to us. Maybe we should just message Sildar and tell him where we're up to and what we're planning to do. See if he's got any advice, anything to tell us.
Sildar knows where we are.
I know he does, but he doesn't know we're about to go and act on looking into this right now, does he?
Yeah, but we might be able to send him a message, but he might not be able to get one back.
I thought that was how it worked.
Possibly with thorns.
Okay, but that's spell slots.
Is there anything you think we need to do, Jay?
No, I think obviously I don't think we're going to be able to get to Obo. I think that one's pretty much off the cards. But
I mean, Negan could sit in the house all day if he wanted. See
I
if
know.
he comes round.
We could ask Lift to leave a message. In fact, we could leave a message for Obo in the house before we left.
yeah, I think that's probably the better way of doing it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Write a thing, stick it to his door with a dagger. You know, reach out to him kind of thing while we go wherever we need to go. I feel like, you know, Obo's, you know, is your mate, and you don't want to leave him high and dry if he's suffering. So reach out. Yeah, that totally get that.
But
And then the other thing, are we going to get people in to and start sorting out this place as well?
Yeah.
Eventually, but I don't know if that's a today job. If we're going to try and track down this Red Viper, that's a today job.
I'd say if we're going to start doing that, then we need to start making money.
Yeah.
Does could we pull on the Greyhounds? See if they know anything about the Red Viper, or
I had a brief conversation with Maloon about the Red Viper, and he was very much playing it down. It's Red Viper, Black Viper, folk tales. It's not. Yeah, he didn't have anything on that. I mean, that was hours, 24 hours ago, just over.
yeah,
I could check in. I don't think he'd have much more.
probably not.
Also, I prefer to keep a low profile with those guys. I don't like the idea they're watching all the time. We could, we could. I think maybe we head down back to the district where we think she might strike, and even if we split up and kind of do a recce, see if anything, see what's going on. Speak to some Crown's Guard, maybe.
Yeah, I think we should go down there and see where that road takes us. I think that's our most pressing thing at the minute, isn't it?
So I think it's worth trying to get in touch with Sildar about that, just because that's it. It's his lead. He's led us to it. We should let him know. We'll try and act on it today and see if he's got anything else for us. You never know.
We're not really acting, are we? We're just looking. And if we do see anything, hopefully it'll be whoever it is in the act, and then it'll be game, set, and match anyway.
Let's do that.
We could send somebody else instead of me and Negan up to Felsoon's Folly. See if Sildar's sat in there watching Hurlet Tom.
Or we could send a bird. We've got Rimple's birds.
Yeah.
What was Felsoon's Folly like? Am I going to stand out like a sore thumb?
I can't remember. It was quite a posh establishment, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was quite upper class.
That sounds like a yes. They're not my people, shall we say.
If it's upper class, I don't think sending a dwarf.
I mean, what did your partner friends say?
I did, to be fair, I didn't quiz him about the. I didn't quiz him about anything.
Was he a bit shifty? Did he seem like he had information?
He seemed like he probably had information, but he was definitely very shifty. Really, it just felt like he was exploitative, he was commercial, he wanted to make me a part of his freak show. I wasn't getting good vibes at all. Although, I don't know, he pinned me for being not part of this world most of the time, and he was relatively cool about that, but it seemed to me that mainly because he felt he could make a profit out of it.
But if he knows, if he's got ties to the underworld and goings on, maybe he's got some information. Maybe we can earn a little bit of coin.
Thomas, did you share his name? Did you share the captain's name?
Yeah, I think last night when we all met back up, I said that his name was Zardos Zord, Captain Zard, Zardos Zord.
Negan, Isla, and Thorin, just make history checks for me, please.
with Lily.
Mine was poor.
What history?
History, yeah.
Mine was 3.
In fact, well, make a history or an investigate. Well, it's an investigation. Suppose you could use one or the other depending on what you wanted to use, but yeah, it may mainly be history.
13.
Isla?
See if my history is any better. Nope. Still 10.
He was brash. He was full of bravado. He had 2 ladies on his arm at any one time. He said to me that he more or less runs like a circus. He was like an archetypal, like almost a caricature of a captain. He had the big hat and the fancy clothes and the cutlass and all the rest of it. And his interest in me seemed to be about he was a collector of rare things. So he was very much objectifying me, which I object to.
Negan, something's bugging you about this name. You've heard the name.
Yeah.
You can't place where.
Can I do a check on it?
He's the captain of the Sea Maidens Fair. That's his ship. So he tells me.
Can I history check the ship?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you straight. You don't know anything about that ship.
Cool.
You've never heard of a ship called the Sea Maidens Fair. But what he actually said was, "I'm the captain of the Sea Maidens Fair," but that's all I'm saying.
I may have misconstrued that.
But Negan, yeah, you've heard the name. You think you've heard the name. There's something about it that's nagging you.
I'll do an investigation check into it, or
unless you speak to the group and try and get you could announce that to the group and then get them to try and work with you to try and puzzle it out.
sort of turn around and say, we're all in the same room now.
Yeah, you're up. You're all in
Yeah.
the tap room, yeah.
I just sort of say, is anyone else thinking about hearing that name and thinking of something?
Yeah.
I don't know why it keeps coming back to me. I can't stop thinking about it now. But I can't place it.
It was all to do with the rotten apple. He wanted to buy it.
Do you reckon this guy knew what was on it? Do you reckon he knew what those people that were obviously went onto it to obviously get what was ever hidden there?
Maybe it's part of the grand game.
Seems like it, doesn't it? It seems like, I guess the name just comes up. Can't put it.
With that help from Jimbo, does he get another role?
I think
Well,
that's all we knew about him, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
yeah, but to put it into some context of where you heard it, the conversation was with Rainier when you first met him in the Xanathar hideout.
But when he was beaten up.
Yeah, because what he said is that he was in the Skewered Dragon with Falloon when a fight broke out, and the mention of Blackwood's ship, and someone stormed out, and he believed it was Blackwood. The reason why you got put on that trail is because you were told in Landing that Volo had information regarding Blackwood. Part of that information was that he knew something around Blackwood had happened and his friend Falloon had gone missing. When you were heading for Falloon, you actually found Renier. Renier then said that he'd overheard some commotion after there was talk of the after talk of the rotten apple being put up for sale. The name associated with buying it was Zada Zord.
Yeah, I've got that note in mind.
So he might know something more about Blackwood then.
Maybe. I mean, if he's
Something that could-
it was your words, not mine.
I think when we need to, that's the place to go then.
I think that's the hottest lead we've got on the Red Viper.
Honestly, if you got on Brand Blackwood, is what we came to town for.
Yeah, that's true. I'm in. Go. I'll.
What's the angle?
So he's approached me. He's interested in, I think, basically me being part of his crew. In air quotes. I don't think it's necessarily a crew. It feels to me very much more like a circus. I really, really don't want to do that. Just to make that absolutely clear, I would really appreciate some help on not ending up in that situation, because
You think his crew might include Zaraj?
no, I doubt that. I think his crew probably full of freaks.
Why does he want you to drow?
Yeah, I stand out like a sore thumb. It's unusual to see me walking around. Many people in this city won't have seen the likes of me and might pay to look at me and look at him and say, oh, isn't he weird? That's entertaining for us rich folk. The whole thing makes my skin crawl. But I get that you guys are here on a deeper purpose. This Brand Blackwood deserves justice. I'm absolutely with you on that one, Megan, and I'm willing to help us attain that. But please, God, don't leave me with that fucking man in that freak show, because he makes my skin crawl already, and I've only just met.
We've got your back.
Yeah, we're not going to leave you with him. We're just going to use get to him.
Yeah, awesome. So on the surface, and he said I could bring my friends, whatever. He wasn't bothered at all. He seemed very unthreatened, and like he very much was like giving it a power play, like he had everything going for him. So.
Well, if any two people were going to be able to get in to his inner circle and possibly get into that side of things, it would be you. And no respect, big man, but you, Negan.
I'm beautiful.
Yes.
Big and beautiful.
Yeah, you stand out like a
okay.
sore thumb.
I reach up and like smack that butt.
It's all about that. Okay, so I think the way in is I approach with maybe one other, just because I definitely prefer not to be alone. The guy already laid his hands on me once, tried to take my hood off another time, and that, as you know, is not cool with me.
I think Negan and you.
But then Negan could be like ace in the hole. That could be if things start to go a little bit south. If I'm having a negotiation with him about what he knows or trying to get a bit more information out of him, and I could say, I've got another interesting friend who might also be attractive to your potential clientele or whatever, and that might open further doors.
I mean, if
Maybe
you're not gonna ditch me again, I could conceal myself and you could take me along for the ride. Providing you don't ditch me.
he's more than comfortable with me walking in with another person. We don't need to do the whole that subterfuge side of it, I don't think.
No, but
But
it'd be nice to have an ace in the hole, a secret, a surprise for him if we need it.
Yeah, yeah.
So true.
And there's
I'd
three
say-
of us.
I think either myself, Isla, Thorin in the ring, or myself, Ulfgar, Thorin in the ring, and then the other two hang back. And we've got an extra bargaining chip. Apologies for the phraseology there, big man, but we've got that if we need it, and we can just see where it takes us.
Yeah.
It's as good a plan as any.
I'll stick with Negan.
All right, cool. So
I'm back.
I'll come in, introduce. We'll go in, me, Thorin, Ulfgar, or Thorin in the ring. What's the play? What do you think?
I just
Throw
think
him in the ring.
I think it's just nice to have
Yeah.
a surprise if we need it.
Very much so.
So me and Ulfgar go in. Ulfgar, you hang on to the ring, and we just see where the conversation takes us.
Okay.
And the primary focus is we're trying to find out about Blackwood or Red Viper or what's the
All of it. All of it, I think. All the information we can get.
Don't know. Maybe not. Maybe don't be so on the nose.
No, just casual about. Look, he was interested in talking to me further. I was interested in talking to him further. That's how I laid it on. Like, I want to know more about Drow and blah blah blah. So we can just have that chat, see where it takes us.
So maybe ask him if he's heard any rumours about the rotten apple, stuff like that. Like try and
Yeah. Okay.
coerce it out of him rather than
the rumours about the rotten apple's history and its previous owner.
it's like
Do we know for sure the rotten apple no longer belongs to Blackwood?
it might belong to him.
Well,
We don't know.
What got said was that that at the moment where Blackwood went on the run, all of his assets went to the city itself, who kept it, and now that Blackwood is no longer in the picture, what they then do is then sell off what they've got. So the ship was basically stripped of everything. Negan and Obo went out there to investigate the ship, and the ship was just bare. And it was moored out in Deepwater Harbour. So it was offshore, just moored when they went out there.
Maybe say to Tavis, maybe things that he liked about you are the fact of your abilities, shall we say.
Could be. He could be having. He could have been disingenuous. It was more my uniqueness in terms of presence of the demographic of this city, really, that I think he was onto. But we can go there and find out. We need to head to the docks ward.
You look pretty sneaky.
Do you
I'm pretty sneaky.
you want to go there
Exactly.
in the morning or later in the afternoon? Because I think we probably should look at the shop as well.
Yeah, I'm easy. Let's yeah. In some ways,
I mean, if you want me to go and stake out the shop today, and you four go down there. If I need you, I can get in contact with you.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Go for it.
Cool.
Okay, so with the plans made then for the day ahead, the party sort of gathering round in the morning, around that table. That's where we'll leave it then for tonight. Yeah, we're planning to look ahead
Yeah.
for the next session.